Jack, how are you? Looking back to the England game, I suppose, what way did you take it when you came off the pitch? How were you feeling? What were the emotions for you, just in, I suppose, in the course that you've come over the past 6 months?
Well, if I'm being honest, the emotion there was the supporters, just being able to, I suppose, in France we felt like it was quite disappointing. Just the travelling support we get is incredible as a team, and we always want to give back to that. People that make sacrifices to travel and support us, we want to be able to give back to that, and unfortunately in France we didn't feel like we did that, but we knew there was going to be a big travelling support over to London, and with the Irish contingency in London as well. So after the game, that was the feeling walking around, you know what I mean, that we gave him something to be proud of.
There's a lot of, I suppose there was a lot of calls for you to be included in the starting 15. You're in now, you've almost kind of proved your point. Is there a sense of satisfaction as well? And where do you feel your game is? Do you feel like you're playing the best rugby of your career?
I feel like it's not really about proving my point or for anybody proving your point. It's more about just always continuing to find your best. And how you can do that week to week, how you can do that from day to day in training, and then it's about where you can add to the team, so that you have 15 individuals out there that are bringing their best. And when you do that, you get performances that come together like England.
Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.
Yeah. Did you feel a big pressure on you that week? Like, it's a huge game away from home. The way people view Ireland's Six Nations campaign probably would have flipped regardless of a win or a loss that day.
Being honest, no, because it comes back to process. You know what I mean? We're oriented around process, so things are about approaching the game with just doing the right thing, simplifying things, and seeing the play in front of you and making the right call. And that's what it came back to. And when you have us out in the field, all lads looking for the right thing, things that you practice in the week come out on the weekend when you're present.
Is it important to kind of approach games like that in a very kind of cold way? Take the occasion out of it and everything like that?
You got to find the balance, because the occasion matters, you know what I mean? Like playing in Twickenham matters, like I said about the supporters, that matters. But then ultimately, to get the best out of your performance, you've got to find that balance between understanding the occasion that's coming, understanding the opposition that you're playing against, but then bringing it back to how do I get a good performance. And for me, it's bringing it back to process and just doing the right thing over and over again.
Susanna, then Luke.
Hi Jack, I'm just curious, obviously there was a lot of online narrative around the 10 jersey, maybe quieting down a bit, and we were talking to Johnny and he just said, don't look at social media. Is that something you're able to do? I mean, I can't imagine it's as easy as just don't look at anything.
It is if you just put it away, you know what I mean? Don't engage with it. It's like anything, you have a choice, and you can choose to not engage or you can choose to engage, and it's just like creating good habits, you know what I mean, in day to day, like with your nutrition or diet or training, performance. You make a choice and you commit to it. And I think it's just in general trying to spend, a lot of people now are talking about quality of life and trying to spend time off the phone. Something when you're in training and trying to connect with one another, staying off the phone is one way that you can play Monopoly Go or whatever it might be. So that's the way. And you just because we're in camp in the evenings, you want to connect with one another, and that's one way as well. So definitely, you always have a choice.
Okay, and then just one more question. You spoke after the Italy game about how sometimes it's not easier coming off the bench, but you can kind of see what you need to come on and change. How did you approach the England game differently in the fact that you wanted to have the same impact but from a minute go?
Yeah, so I would say it's not easier to come off the bench. What I meant by that was that when you are on the bench, you obviously have an opportunity to see how the game goes, or how it's going. So it's important when you're on the bench, I suppose, to stay engaged with what is going on, not just to kind of be drifting and then come on and be hit by kind of that intensity. You need to be staying engaged there. But what I mean then is that it comes back to that about process, that like if you're starting, well, it's how am I going to do that? How am I going to be present so that when I go out onto the field, you don't know what's coming. We try and predict, but you don't know. It's a game that's full of uncertainties. So you need to be present. You need to see what's happening, and then trusting your processes that you've done in the week. See what's happening in front of you, and then execute and have the trust in the lads around you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Luke, Sinead, then Ruth.
Hey Jack, can I just ask you about your relationship and the partnership with Gibson Park in Twickenham? Obviously you've a really good understanding from playing with Craig at Munster and Ireland through the years, but in terms of Gibson Park and what he gives an out half, does it really raise your game again playing alongside one of the most informed players in world rugby?
Yeah, I mean, for me as out half, it's about organising the players around me so that the team have clarity on the way we want to attack, so that lads can be in the right position and do the right thing. And then I suppose with the nines we have, they're world class in their basics, their passing, their kicking and decision making. So for me to be able to play with them and not just one, because obviously I know playing with Craig in Munster, and then seeing how Doki's doing up in Ulster as well, the way he's playing there in that system is brilliant. So I mean, for me it's not necessarily about any one individual, it's just they're world class nines, and the way that I see that they play with speed, I just want to free them up so that they can play their game when they go out there, if that makes sense, by giving them the right I suppose organisation around them. And I think you see what they do when they're on the ball. They're both class and make really good decisions.
And you've had, I suppose, the pleasure of playing and training alongside Johnny at the end of his career, and then now having him as a coach. What are the biggest differences in Johnny from 2023 to being a coach now with you?
I suppose not much has changed in his game understanding and game knowledge. That's something that I'll be fascinated with and always pick his brain on. And I suppose now to have him where he's not necessarily, I suppose, playing and performing in the game, he has more time that we can ask more questions and go through stuff together, all of us tens, and it's brilliant to be able to have someone with his, I suppose, experience, understanding and game knowledge. Yeah.
Sinead.
Jack, what are you particularly happy with in your game and what do you feel needs to improve?
I suppose keeping things simple, like keeping things process oriented. Like I said, the game of rugby is quite uncertain. There's a lot of unknowns. You know what I mean? Every game you face, you try and predict what's going to happen, but you have to also be aware that there's a lot of things that mightn't go your way, and having processes for that as well. But I'm not really focusing on too much on what's going well and what's not going too well. I'm just focusing on preparing day to day, how I can bring my best day to day, and then come game day, who knows what could be thrown our way. So again, I'm trying to just stay in the present. Whatever skill sets required of me then and there, that's what I'll be focusing on.
Nice to meet Quegan Kelleher the last day.
Yeah, and Nathan, we were
on the phone?
Pardon?
What were you showing on the phone?
I was our GPS, Andrew Morrissey. He was in goal for us in a penalty shootout over in Portugal, and he brought the lads in because he worked with them in the FAI, and it was class to be able to. We didn't know that they were coming in, and went into the physio room and got a shock, but he was in goal and we showed him the penalty shootouts because they're pretty impressive saves. He got burns on his knees and stuff like that, so he was committed to the cause.
Thanks, Ruth.
Hi Jack, 2 years ago in Marseille you had an outstanding game. What has it been like, just the journey for you over these last couple of years, being in and out of that number 10 shirt internationally, and how have you made sure that you're back in it now?
Again, I think it's the journey is one that you don't ever want to wish you changed anything, because you are here right now as you're meant to be, and everything along the way is made you who you are right now, and you can't change anything. That's the past and it's done. Like the future, don't know what's coming, and all you can control is right here, right now. Bring your best right here, right now, and you look after the future, because what you do now is what will determine what comes down the line. So it's never really about focusing too much on the past or looking too far forward. You know what I mean? Had a tough training today. I'm thinking about getting back down to the gym to do a gym session. So that's what's on my mind. Just like I said, trying to stay as much in the now.
And just what's your relationship with Sam Prendergast like, the dynamic in camp?
Yeah, well, I think there was mentioned that there's Harry, Frawls, and the four of us. we all like to push each other, and that's what gets the best out of one another. Competition, like I've said before, is one that drives you to be your best, not just come game day, but day to day in training. And you know what I mean, we're always sitting down together looking at a laptop, because the knowledge from one another might have a different perspective on how we should run something. And when you combine that with the coaches, you get, I suppose, the best of the best, and that's what we're like in camp. We work unbelievably well together, and we're all focused on, I suppose, getting the best out of ourselves for the team, because if we're doing that, then the team are getting the best of one another.
Last one question each. Kieran, Tom, then Johnny to finish up. Kieran.
Hey Jack, would you make many adjustments in terms of your process or kicking technique just from working with Johnny over the last year? Or what kind of advice would you give me about that?
No, so I've been working with Dave Allred over the last period, and Johnny obviously worked with Dave Allred as well. So it's much of the same. It's just obviously getting a perspective from Johnny had been doing it recently, and then combining two great minds is the best of the best. And it's just about I suppose putting in the reps, figuring it out, and week to week trying to improve and get better.
Thanks. Tom.
Roger. We saw in the game against England the crowd kind of jeering at George Ford when he missed a couple of kicks out to touch. Given your position, when you have a crowd kind of getting onto you like that, what techniques do you have to stay present and kind of block it out and make sure you focus on the task at hand? Yeah,
it's a good question. I think preempting not mistakes, but preempting situations where you're going to be under pressure, whether it's in play or whether it's your individual technique. For us, it might be kicking, but for line-out throwers, it might be the pressure that they could be getting in hostile environments. So during the week, just feeling what it might be like to be under a little bit of pressure, and just breath works. For me, a lot of breath works, bring you back to what's in your control. And I think having a good technique, you know what I mean, that needs to be robust under no matter what situation it is. So it's preparation of the week as well, anticipating what might come.
Thanks, Johnny.
Jack, there's sort of endless speculation about that half, and probably will be into the future. Can you enjoy that? I mean, I'm guessing you can't allow it to annoy you, but can you enjoy it?
I think there's a place in the middle where you're just focused on, like I've spoken to earlier, just about the here and now. It's doing your best, and once you do that, and what's in your control all that, and the rest is out of our control. And if you focus on what's in your control, and you're truly giving your very best when you look yourself in the mirror that evening or that night going to bed, you know what I mean, that's it. And for me, that's my focus, to continually do that, and where I end up. But if I'm not giving my best and I can't look at myself honestly in the mirror, well then I know I need to do the work, and then what'll come will come.